Welcome to the Permission Slip podcast, where I, empowerment coach, mindset expert, and holistic nutritionist Carmen Oling, share with you the tools, conversations, and resources you need to write your own permission slip, take massive action, and become obsessed with your own life. Let's get started. So instead of focusing on that big goal, that end result, what you're going to do, I want you to really focus on and think about how you want to feel every day this year. Happy February! So if you are in the 91% of people who have set resolutions, well, you've given up on them by now. 91% of people have given up on their New Year's resolutions, on their goals for the year by February 1st. In fact, most people give up by January 17th. It's actually been named Ditch Your Resolution Day. Welcome back to the Permission Slip podcast, and happy February to everybody. Now, I want to ask you if you are one of the 91%. Do you know what I'm talking about? 91% of people who have set New Year's resolutions have given up by February 1st. In fact, most people even give up a few weeks earlier on January 17th. And it's been named National Ditch Your Resolutions Day. I didn't know that until I looked that up. But yeah, it's so true. So raise your hand if you've ever given up your resolution in the first month or the second month. I know that I have been there. So if you're anything like me, we need to have a different way to look at things in order to be successful and to achieve our goals and to feel good while we're doing it. Now, a few reasons why people give up that I've seen and that I've experienced in my own life and with my clients is we're placing too much emphasis on the end result and not enough emphasis on how we're going to get there. So we're looking at this big goal, this big dream, this big resolution, this big change, this big growth, whatever it is in our life, and that's all we're focused on. Instead of focusing on okay, what can I do today to get a little closer to that? So let me give you an example. One of my big goals this year, and I'm going to share with you, I think I have 5 written down that I'm going to share with you out of the goals that I've set for this year. I'm just sharing 5. But one of them is to release my first book and journal. And this is something that has been on my heart. You know, one of those things that the universe keeps giving you a nudge for year after year after year, and you ignore it. So this is the year I've committed to myself that I'm not ignoring it. But when I think about the overarching daunting task of making a journal and writing a book and launching it and getting people to buy it so they can read it and they can be served by it and they can start making changes in their own lives, that feels overwhelming. So what I've committed to myself, instead of just focusing on the result, I'm focusing on my everyday action. So I've committed to writing 4,000 words a week. And I break that down to 4 days a week. After I get up and do my morning rituals, then I'm getting ready for the day. So I'm putting myself together. I'm not allowing myself to stay in slouch mode anymore. Putting myself together, getting in that high vibe energy, that alignment of my highest self. And I'm writing 1,000 words 4 days a week. Now, that's really doable for me because depending on how focused and how crazy my mind is that day and how aligned I'm feeling, usually that could take me 30 minutes, 45 minutes. Sometimes it takes up to an hour if I'm getting extra distracted, but I'm working on focusing with all of the techniques that we just learned about. And if you didn't listen to any of those last 3 podcasts, I did a whole series on that. So the number one reason that most people give up is because you're focusing on that end result, not on the steps that you can do each day. And then celebrating when you do them. When I'm done writing, I feel so invigorated. It is so amazing. And I celebrate that. And then the next day I do it, I celebrate it again because I know that that's going to build momentum. The second reason most people give up is because the resolutions or the goals rarely match to what you value most, what's most important to you. It rarely matches to your deepest desires. It's most of the time an outwardly thing, something society is telling you you should be doing, something your friend, your best friend, your mom, your coworker is doing. You're like, oh, I'm going to go ahead and jump on that train. But it's not something you deeply believe for yourself, and so you give up. The next thing is that it's just really fucking big, and it's probably going to take more than 1 year, and you haven't taken the time to break it down, and you're not being patient enough to know that if you put it out there and if you believe for it yourself and you have so much faith and you create that vision for yourself and you declare it over your life every single day, okay, it may not happen today, but if you're taking small action, inspired action each and every day, you're going to get there, and you can just release the when. So you don't have to have necessarily a year tied to it. You just have to have that inspired action, that vision over your life, and start speaking and thinking words in that manner each and every day. And you'll be able to take that inspired action and to get there. So be patient. It's okay if it takes you longer than the year. So now one thing I want you to focus on, instead of focusing on that big end result, because again, like I said, when we focus on that big end result and we're not breaking it down into like daily incremental tasks that we can take inspired action on, that we can celebrate when we do that and feel good and build momentum, we're gonna give up. So instead of focusing on that end result, I want you to focus on how you want to feel this year. Because just think, if you push yourself and you white knuckle it all year long to achieve goals, but you feel like shit and you're not really experiencing your life and the most that you can get from it, what is it going to be like at the end of the year? Great, you did these things, but are you going to feel fulfilled? Are you going to feel passionate? Are you going to feel inspired? Or are you just going to be burnt out again? So let me share with you, I took some time to write down how I wanted to feel. I did this prior to investing in a mastermind. I invested in a mastermind this year, the Powerhouse Women Mastermind with Lindsay Schwartz. I'm super excited for it. Big things are happening this year. And I know just being around community and other women that are doing big things, it's just so inspiring, so motivating. And when you're in that energy, it's hard to not stay motivated and inspired. So I took some time prior to joining and really think about if this was the right decision for me, if it was aligned with where I was going, my highest self, and how I wanted to feel. So the 5 things that I thought about, how do I want to feel this year with the calling that is on my life, with how I'm being asked to show up and how I'm being asked to serve and how I'm being asked to up level and the things I'm being like asked to do. So the first thing is invigorated. I don't just want to feel inspired, because I'm inspired often. I'm inspired by so many things. My morning routine, just sitting down and doing like a prayer and meditation in the morning, is inspiring for me. Just journaling is inspiring for me. Living here in Miami Beach and going outside and just being inspired, seeing people exercise outside, that always makes me smile. Am I the only one? I want to hear from you. Send me a DM on Instagram if seeing people exercise and be healthy makes you smile and feel good, even if you're not the one doing it. So I can be inspired in so many ways, but being invigorated means that not only am I inspired, but I am so enthusiastic and I am ready to be fucking courageous and take action and go for it, go for it, go for it. The next thing is I want to feel free. I don't want to be like locked into any one thing. I want to be able to make choice for how I spend my energy. I almost said time, but I don't base things off time. I base things off the energy that I have available for the day. And I would encourage you to do the same thing. And I want to feel free and light in my body. So last year I went through a big health thing, and I'll be sharing more on the podcast about that, because I know many of you are having issues with hormones or your cycle or unexpected weight gain or fatigue, a lot of different things that I went through last year. And I'm going to be sharing more on the podcast, but I want to feel free and light in my body. So first two feelings are invigorated and then free. The next one is engaged. So engaged is being present in the moment and being focused. And I just did a 3-part podcast series on being focused, so I'm not going to go too much into that one. The next one is being disciplined. So being disciplined is really important to be able to reach your goals. And now I'm not saying that I'm going to be rigid. It's not rigid discipline, black or white. This is discipline to know that there are a few things that I'm going to commit to each and every day or week or month, however often I'm committing, and I'm going to do it. I'm going to be disciplined to be obedient to some of the things that I'm being called to do. Recently I got a word from God, and he told me that the next level, that I've done an amazing job, and my opportunity to serve has just been great, and I've made a huge difference. And the next level, the next up level for me is everything on the other side of not drinking alcohol in this season of my life. That when I drink alcohol, I'm less creative, I'm less invigorated, I'm less inspired, I'm less focused, I'm less disciplined. And so I'm listening to that right now. So right now in this season, for however long that is it a year? Is it 2 months? Is it 6 months? I'm not sure. I'm just open and available and willing to what is possible, but I'm being disciplined to that. So I heard that, I'm making that commitment, and I'm going for it, and I'm talking about it and declaring it over my life every single day. The last thing, and this one feels so fucking good, so steal this shit if you want, is I want to feel in awe of my life every single day, because miracles are natural. A Course in Miracles says that when miracles are not occurring, something has gone wrong. And oftentimes it's those low level thoughts that we're having in our head. It's the worry that we're having. It is the constant doing or numbing out that we're doing that is causing us not to experience miracles in our life. And they happen every day. You just have to be in alignment and open to receive them. So I want to be in awe. Maybe that's of nature. Maybe that's of someone sending me a message and saying how much I was able to help them and thanking them. Maybe that's in awe of just being in a deep dedication to my relationship with Joel. So many things. So I looked up the definition of in awe, and it said an overwhelming feeling of reverence produced by that which is extremely powerful. And within us, we all have our own inner power, and often we're giving it away every single day. And it's time that we forgive ourselves, forgive others, take our power back, set boundaries with love, and show up as our highest self and be in awe of our own damn lives, not of other people's every single day. Really went off on a tangent there, but so important. Try it out. Be in awe of your life. See what it feels like. So lastly, I told you that I was going to share 5 of my goals, and I already shared one about the book and journal. And so that's coming along well because I'm taking those small steps every day. I wrote today my 1,000 words. I felt so good about it. I was so inspired to do the rest of my work. And I felt good because I kept my commitment to myself. I was being disciplined. The second thing is giving $1,111 out every month in some form or fashion. And we did that for January. And I'm so looking forward to that happening again in February, and just finding amazing ways to share how I'm being blessed with other people. The third thing is to sell out my retreats and events just like I did last year. And I know that when I'm not white knuckling it and trying to sell and being worried about what's happening and being in that scarcity mindset, which, side note, like a couple weeks ago, I kind of was slipping back into an old scarcity mindset. My bestie kind of had to pull me back out from that. Like, yes, the right people, this will show up and I'll get connected with them. I'll be able to serve them. Their lives will change. And then it'll just be like a domino effect, because they'll be able to share with other women in their lives what they're learning. And together, like, collectively, we'll change the world, right? That sounds big and grandiose, but isn't that what it's all about? So sell out my retreats, and I'm taking this podcast live on tour. So you can join me in person, and we're going to be recording the podcast live. I'm going to be highlighting some other amazing female entrepreneurs that you need to know. And it's going to be all across the United States. So far, I think we have, Portland, Oregon, Phoenix, Arizona, Colorado Springs, Colorado, right here in Miami Beach, Florida, Virginia Beach, and more to come, and dates and how to sign up and how to join us, because it is going to be limited capacity only. So you want to sign up to join us, grab your ticket, bring your friend, bring your mom, bring your sister, that sort of thing. So I'm doing that, and I want to sell those out. And really what I mean by that is connect to the people that need this message the most. And then the last two things are more personal things. So personally, travel. I want to separate myself and have Joel separate himself from work. We recently went on a Tulum trip, which stay tuned for the next podcast around what we learned in Tulum and how what's meant for you will not pass you. I can't wait to share that with you on the next pod. But I want to travel with Joel totally disconnected. I would love to see if we could again. We did this a couple years in a row and got away from it since we moved to Miami Beach, but taking 2 full months off a year and going to places where we can completely disconnect and reconnect and deepen and just have such a divine connection between him and I. And then I also want to have alone time. So staycations, maybe every month here in Miami, or going on trips by myself. The retreat that we visited in Tulum was called Holistica. I'd love to go back there for a week by myself, maybe finish my book there, things like that, that is just really filling my cup, but it's separating me from that doing and that masculine energy and really being in the feminine, being in the creative energy, being in that flow more. And the more and more that you can tap into that on a consistent basis, the more you be able to bring that to your everyday life. And going back to how you want to feel, I know that when I tap into that, I can feel invigorated, free, engaged, disciplined, and totally in awe of my own life. And then the last thing is just a couple of things that I've really been working on and I want to continue is Joel and I have been learning Spanish. So yeah, that's been muy difícil. I totally just botched that, but it's been challenging. Mi maestro es muy bueno con no sé. So see, more to learn there. I was trying to say that our Spanish teacher was really great with a lot of great ideas, and then I lost it. So anyway, Spanish, still doing that, and cooking. So when I owned my food business in Oregon a number of years ago, and I still operated my coaching business, and everything was in speaking and everything was happening on one time, I got really burnt out with cooking. And I love cooking. It's like my pastime. I love making new recipes. I love taking recipes that maybe are not as nourishing for your body, and I love harmonizing them. So like making them healthier, but still adding in probably even more flavor and so much more nutrients so you feel good about eating it. I want to make a lot more time for that. That just like fills me up, and I just absolutely love it. In addition to, I'll get closer to that big goal that I have no idea how I'm getting to be on the Rachel Ray Show and cook with her and see her and meet her and hang out with her. So if anybody's listening and wants to connect me, I'm open to that. So that's that. Those are my goals. And if you are part of the 91%, here's the thing. Okay, it happened. Forgive yourself. Take your power back, write out how you want to feel this year. And if those goals are aligned with what your deepest desire is, what you're believing in for yourself, then I want you to sit down and I want you to write out those small actionable steps that you can do every day, a few times per week, however often you can commit to it, and celebrate the shit out of it each time that you do it. And you're going to get one step closer and closer and closer. And throughout the year, I'll keep you updated on these goals that I shared, and we can celebrate our goals together. So I want to hear from you. Shoot me a DM with what you're working towards this year. And if you're having a hard time breaking it down into those small actionable steps that you can celebrate, I will help you with that. Let's chat about it in the DMs. So until next time, just know I'm so grateful for you joining us here on the Permission Slip podcast. I can't wait to see you in June for the Permission Slip retreat, which is the next one in Miami Beach. There is a link in the show notes. You can go to my website, carmenolane.com, to find more. And if you like this sort of thing too, you can always join us in the membership collective too. So it's the Permission Slip Coaching Collective. Every single month, I do talks like these. We have guest speakers, we have challenges. February's challenge is a meditation challenge, a 2-minute meditation challenge. Anybody can meditate for 2 minutes. And yes, it makes a big difference in your life. And we're all doing it together. Megan Mercer is going to be coming and doing a transformational detoxing breath work during one of our learning times. We're still doing our book club, and you get a ton of recipes if you want to do that. There's a link in the bio. You can join us free this month. Connection, connection, connection. Stop isolating yourself. Oftentimes when we're going towards or reaching our goals, we think that we just need to buckle down, and it's almost like we start isolating ourselves, but that makes us feel like shit. So find a way to get out there and connect, sign up for the retreat, join the collective, join something else in your community, whatever it is. Watch out for the podcast tour because I want to see you live. And that's it for today. Stay tuned for next week for the Tulum update too. And the idea of what's meant for you won't pass you. Okay, I'm so grateful to you. Lots and lots of love.